Hey YouTube, it's your girl Ezzy once again, and I'm back again with another video. Now today's video is going to be a bit more personal, and it may or may not be emotional, simply because I have gotten comfortable and used to talking about this topic. But as you can tell by the title of the video, I will be talking about anxiety. Now I suffer with anxiety, specifically fearing death and scared of becoming ill and something happening to me. Now just to bring you guys back a little bit, in junior high school, I would always, literally, well, actually, let me bring you back a little bit more. My mom informed me when I was a child, like really young, that she'll take me to parks and it'll be far from home, and I'll tell her, Mom, I have to use the bathroom, and she'll say, let's use it in the, let's go to the behind the bushes, because we were so far from home, as a lot of parents would do. And I will always be like, no, infection. And at that point, that's how I used to say infections. But at that point, my mom said, what does this little girl know about infections? I don't know. So then my brother had issues with his kidneys, and he had to get operated, which was really a sad moment for the family. And I was very young, so when he came home to recover, he would get in the shower, and my mom would put a brand new bar of soap there. He would get in the shower, and then he'll get out the shower, and then I would tell my mom, like, I need a new soap, and she would go, well, I just gave you a soap, and I would be like, well, there's no soap there. But I would throw the soaps out the window, fearing that his operation, his kidney issues would be contagious in a way and transfer to me. I was so scared of getting sick and something happening to me. I would be scared to touch unsanitary things because I think I would get sick. Now I know a lot of you guys that are watching this video are probably saying, well, maybe you're a germaphobe. Now that ran through my head a lot, but that's not the case. So in junior high school, I remember going to school, and I would always, it was like homeroom or it was science class, but they had those long tables that they have in science classes. And I will always go to class, and I will always be crying with my head down on the table. And my mom gave me consent and confirmation to share this information with you, simply because she knows that it impacted me in many ways, and she knows that I can share with you guys so that you guys can relate if you can. So my mom suffers from diabetes, high blood pressure, kidney issues, and she used to smoke heavy packs of cigarettes, and it's about 2 years now that she quit, so congrats, Mom. That's awesome. So yeah, so I would always go to class crying because I would always be scared that something would happen to my mom. So my teacher would always come to me and ask me, like, what's wrong, and I would tell her, like, you know, I'm scared something's gonna happen to my mom, basically thinking that my mom would die, basically. And the teacher would call my mom to inform her, like, hey, your child's here crying. And I would go home, my mom would talk to me, and you know, I can't speak on it because I don't smoke, so I don't know how hard it is to break a habit, but thankfully my mom stopped now. But my mom would talk to me and tell me, like, nothing's going to happen to Mom, but she'll continue to smoke. But nonetheless, the anxiety would ease, and then it'll come back, it would ease, and then it'll come back. Then in high school, when I met my best friend in junior high school, but it wasn't to high school until she noticed, like, I guess my anxiety characteristics. This is the time when anthrax and stuff came out, so they would say, like, be careful with mail, because if you get contaminated with anthrax, whatever. So I would call my best friend, and I would contact my mom and say, Mom, I just took the mail out, or Chave, I just took the mail out, do you think that I got contaminated with anthrax? Like, these are all things that will run through my mind, associating and leading to me being scared that something's going to happen to me. And thankfully I had a great support system. My best friend, she's awesome. My mom, she's awesome. They will always reassure me. Now the thing with my anxiety, and may be for all of you too, is that I need reassurance. I need people to normalize things for me. Prime example, like if I say, you know, my tummy is hurting, my best friend or my mom will probably say, well, maybe it's hurting because of this, and this happens to a lot of people, and then I don't feel alone, if that makes sense. So if they reassure me, like, everything's okay with you because of X, Y, and Z, then I feel better. So that was that. And then in high school and college, I would always have to speak to my mom morning, throughout the day, and night. Well, yeah, morning, throughout the day, and night, obviously if I'm physically there with her. But when I went up to college, because I was like a magnet to my mom prior to going to college, but I decided to go 6 hours away, and what gave me that comfortability was my best friend got accepted to the same school, so we went and dormed together there. And being 6 hours away, it kind of eased my mind a little bit because I was so occupied, but at the same time my anxiety was still there. But at this time I didn't know that it was anxiety that I was dealing with. You know, I just thought that I was freaking out. But being 6 hours away, I would always have to speak to my mom morning, day, and night. And if she didn't answer the phone, then these thoughts would run through my mind like, oh my gosh, something must have happened to my mom. Why is she answering me? Not knowing that maybe she didn't answer because maybe she was washing dishes, maybe she was attending to whatever it is that she was doing. And to run back a little bit, starting from high school, I'm sorry if I'm going on a rampage, but I would always go to the doctors about 3 times a month. Now, you're supposed to go to the doctors every 6 months simply because you go get your physical. Then if you go on a GYN, you go every 6 months. And if you get a pap smear, you go from a year or 2, and so forth, if you catch my drift. I used to go like 3 times a month because I would feel like a physical symptom and I would automatically associate it to something's wrong with me. And to make it worse, I would always Google my symptoms. Now guys, Googling your symptoms is the worst thing you can ever do. Google would F up your life. Now, I love Google because Google's like my #1 thing. Like, I can always get a lot of answers to that. But when it comes down to, you know, Googling your symptoms, don't do that because Google is too broad when it comes down to that. When it comes down to your health, you got to go check it out so that they can narrow down exactly what's wrong with you if that's the case. So I will always Google my symptoms, and if you Google stomach discomfort with X, Y, and Z, Google will tell you you're gonna die. Now, for people who suffer from anxiety, going to Google and hearing that you're gonna die is the worst thing anybody can tell you because you're going to freak out. So, Google wasn't really friendly with me when I would Google my symptoms. And then, so that happened in college. Being away from my mom, knowing she's sick, it would always go on and on. Now, then when I graduated with my, like when I came home, when I graduated from undergrad, I would always do the same thing. Like I would sleep with my boyfriend. He'll be like 2 buildings away, and I would just see my mom 2 hours ago, but I would still go to my boyfriend's house and still have to call my mom like at 1 in the morning to check if she's okay. And if she doesn't answer, my boyfriend's just like, she's okay, like maybe she's sleeping, but it would still bug me out. I would have to hear from her in order to be okay and sleep okay. So it was one day when I noticed, I was like, okay, this must be serious. Usually if something bad happens, it'll affect my sleep. Like for example, when I had my breakup in college with my current boyfriend, I was crying in my sleep, and my best friend was like, are you okay? And she knew because I was articulating that it was the breakup that I was crying about. It was weird. So in my dream, when I did speak to her one day, when she didn't answer my phone call, I literally was screaming her name in my sleep. Like it was just affecting my sleep. And my boyfriend had to contact my mom, which was really sweet of him, and tell her that you know, I know as he usually talks to you before she goes to sleep to make sure you're okay, and clearly she couldn't today. You know, she's screaming your name in her sleep. I just want to make sure you're okay. And she said she was, and then he, I guess, well, he told me in the morning that she was okay, which was great. So now, boiling down to what I do to, I guess, treat my anxiety. When I went to the doctor and they diagnosed me, because they basically said you come to the doctor like 50 million times, and obviously you can tell that you fear getting sick, etc., etc. They diagnosed me with anxiety. Now, they gave me options as far as medication, and I completely declined medication. Now, I'm not saying if you get diagnosed with anxiety, decline medication. You may need it. To each his own. But I declined medication simply because I wanted to see if I can organically treat it myself. So the reason is because I went to grad school for social work. And I just graduated, by the way, so I'm super excited about that. But anyways, I went to school for social work, and I knew that I need to take care of myself before I can take care of others. with that being said, I'm sure that I'm going to come across a lot of clients, because anxiety is so common, that has anxiety. And so I began practicing CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. You might be familiar, you might not. And basically what that is when you replace your negative thinking with positive thinking. And that's been going well for me. Prime example, now when I feel physical symptoms, I'll say, you know what, Ezzy, let's wait out for a good week. And if the symptoms don't subsidize, and if it's still there and it doesn't leave, then we go to the doctor and check it out. Clearly it's a concern. However, if it leaves, then by all means, you're okay. 9 times out of 10, those physical symptoms would go. Clearly, because anxiety, I did not know before, but anxiety can cause physical symptoms, which can make you physically feel sick. So I would practice CBT. If my mom doesn't answer the phone now, I'm like, okay, maybe my girl is cleaning dishes. Maybe she doesn't want to answer my call because she don't feel like this. No, but maybe she's just sleeping. You know, everything's okay. And another thing, I'm starting to get used to, not used to, but understand what reality is. That one day we're all going to, I don't want to say it so bluntly, but we're all going to die. And the way that I learned that is because I was never big on funerals. So now I'm able to go to funerals, whether it's to support a loved one or whether it's for me to go pay respects, and I'm able to walk up to that person that has been deceased and show my respect. I couldn't do that before. I couldn't even walk in the funeral. I couldn't even be next to the casket, nothing. But I have to do these things in order for me to face my fear. I need to have what it is that I'm scared of right in front of my face to get over it. And I'm not going to say get over it. Anxiety, I think, is going to be in for the long haul. I think it's going to be long term, but I think that the difference is I'm going to learn how to deal with it, and that's okay. Another thing, self-care is super, super important. If you haven't watched my self-care video, please check it out. It's basically talking about different self-care techniques that you can utilize that can put you in that mind space that you kind of block everything out. So one thing that I do is take herbal baths and essential oils. I haven't did it in a while, but it kind of, and light a candle, and it kind of just free me from all of my worries. And I don't feel anxiety when I'm in that tub just relaxing. So yeah, that's basically what I do. And I still need the assurance from my folks. So sometimes from time to time, if I'm anxious, I tell my boyfriend, like, look, just tell me I'm okay and tell me why, and convince me why I'm okay. And he'll do it, and that's it, I'm okay. You know, so I just want you guys to know that if you're suffering from anxiety, you're going to be okay. And if you put your mind to it, you can learn to organically treat yourself. Now, I'm not telling you, once again, disclaimer, I'm not telling you just stay away from the meds. At the end of the day, go get treated and see if meds is something that you need, because like I said, everybody has different levels of anxiety. But you can try out what I just told you that I utilize, the techniques that I utilize first before looking toward medication. Maybe that's just my recommendation. Maybe at the end of this video, I'm going to put some resources up for you guys that helps folks that suffer from anxiety. And yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoy, not necessarily enjoy because this video is not enjoyable, but I really hope this video was helpful. And if it was, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And if you have yet to subscribe, please do. You will see more videos such as this one. And please leave comments below. If you suffer from anxiety, what techniques do you use to help you with it? Because maybe, you know, I can add that onto my list and see if it works for me. If you utilize the techniques that I shared with you guys, leave the comments below if it helped you. And also leave comments on what videos you would like to see. I talk about love, I talk about anxiety, as you can see. I talk about self-care, anything. And I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Bye-bye.